He's joining shortly.
Yeah, he'll join. His system went into reboot.
He joined or what?
No, he'll join in a couple of minutes. His system went into reboot. So
no, I think so. He's joined. Just check it out because it shows, except for the video part. We have Atul also watching, a star celebrity. Yeah. Just check it out because
he joined.
Yogesh has joined, but video is not on.
He's joined. Yes.
With the video.
Okay.
Hi guys.
Hi. Yogesh, could you keep your mobile on the other way around in a normal portrait form? Then it becomes better. No, landscape. I stand corrected. In a landscape mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, my system is currently rebooting. So after this, I'll be joining through a laptop only.
So do we wait for some time because it's reflecting as bandwidth is low?
We can start because his will come a little later.
No, but bandwidth is low. Yogesh part is reflecting as bandwidth is low.
Okay, might be like till the time my system is rebooting. So I think
till then, Sandeep can do. Good evening, friends. I, on behalf of Beyond Law CLC, welcome you all to a session and a topic which we keep on talking and discussing as to the cybersecurity and the fraud prevention, then what are the way forwards? In that pursuit, we requested Mr. Sandeep Suri and Mr. Yogesh Chauhan. Mr. Sandeep Suri is a close friend of ours, and he's practicing along with us in Punjab Haryana High Court. Along with that, his flair for editing and writing is well known to us. Coupled with that, he's an erudite speaker. On that score, being a good friend, speaker, writer, and a lawyer above all, made us persuade that he should give the insights on the cybersecurity and fraud prevention. And interestingly, he's BE Electronics. And coming across to the law fraternity, though it's very good for us, maybe if he would have continued in the engineering side, then as they say, the paths would have been much different. And same is with Mr. Yogesh Chauhan, who is the Chief Information Security Officer in Grazity Interactive as a Chief Information Security Officer. His profile has how to have the data privacy frameworks, etc., has an experience in this regard. Therefore, when we requested both the speakers, we had two issues in our mind. One was the legal framework, and another was how it practically works out. Therefore, to have a dual combo is just like two wheels of a cycle. They do better even if you pedal slightly. Otherwise, a solo act does not give the desired results. And we all know that in respect of us, cyber security and fraud, there are different issues which come in the mind of a common man. As to there are issues regarding the financial, marketplace, social platform, retail and commerce, shipping and delivery, and telecom. These aspects we keep on discussing. But what are the final nuances which one has to keep in mind? What is the way forward? In these aspects, I think that we could not have called for better speakers who can give insights on topic, which we keep on discussing, but to have the legal framework coupled with the practical aspects. Over to you, Sandeep, and we are allowing you to share screen sharing.
It's not activated as of now.
It should be activated. Just check it out. Screen share. Allowed.
Hi, good evening. I am Sandeep Suri. Because I am humbled to be on this platform because you've been able to get the perhaps the best legal brains that India has have already been here, and going forward, perhaps nobody would be left by the time we go on to the end of our sessions. Okay, what we are going to discuss today is we are discussing about you. We are discussing about cybersecurity. We are discussing about cybersecurity and prevention. We are going to be discussing about privacy. We are going to be discussing about how on this cyber highway on which we are spending our full day, whether it's the morning, evening, night, even when we are sleeping, how we are being followed, we are being tracked, and how we use in a legal terminology. Okay. If anybody here is actually interested in getting his unique ID from the United Nations Institute of Digital Research, it's an autonomous institute with the United Nations. It's one word, one identity. All that you need to do is send in this information to me. This is my mobile number 700909737. You could just take a piece of paper and note it down. Your surname spelled backwards, the city you were born in, the year of your birth, your mother's maiden name, and your first name. That's all the 5 things that would be required. You could just put in an SMS to me on my mobile number. That's your surname spelled backwards, the city you were born in, the year of your birth, your mother's maiden name, your first name, and you'll get your unique ID. It's free. It's only first time reports which I can generate. So let's go further. Okay, cyber. It's a very dangerous world. Let's start with our own or your own social life. Let's talk about all those posts that you and me have been putting onto the net without thinking about it. Let's go to a site called II Webhose. Okay, I'm taking you to this particular site, and let us see what is the sort of information which is there. This would be a photograph which you may have posted unknowingly at any period of time. It may have been today, it may have been yesterday, or it may have been even 10 years back. This particular software which is available, and I am coming here with a caveat, anything and everything which I'm going to be showing here in today's demonstration is only containing free open trial versions which do not in any manner for which I have not paid anything. Okay, here it is. Now on this particular software, if I am supposed to be look for a person, I just go to I identify a person there, and I get a list of these photographs which are there. Now, for example, here I have a lady here, and this could have been my photograph, this could have been your photograph. And as we look at this, where is this photograph taken at? Okay, just a minute. Okay, let's have for a minute, just a minute. Yes, I was looking for a person. Sorry. Just give me a minute. I'll just have to reload it. Okay. While it reloads, the photograph that we are putting onto the net every day, it carries with it a lot of information. It carries with it even to the extent where is that particular photograph being taken at. For example, when we were looking at this particular version here, and I said, let's have a look at this particular photograph which is being taken of a lady, and this is the photograph which is there, and I click it. What is the information which is being made available? See here. This photograph was taken on the 15th of October 2020. The file type is there, the image dimension is there, the camera is there, and as I continue to enlarge the area, the exact location where this photograph was taken would also be generated. The exact latitude and longitude would be available. Now, what I am trying to show you here is that once you put in that photograph, This photograph is there available in the public domain for anybody to pick up. You may have posted it on any particular site, or you may have shared it through your WhatsApp, etc. And on the basis of this photograph, what can be generated is the exact location, and even as I would show you later, the time where it has been taken, and a person can identify your home or your school or the place of your work. Let us go further. Let us have a look at another site. Now, this is a photograph. Presume that this is a photograph that you have taken and you have shared with your friends, and your friend has further put it in onto the net, onto a particular site, which may be any site for that matter. Now, for example, this is a photograph which I took, and I have gone onto this site, and all that I am doing is uploading that information, uploading that particular photograph which is there. Ladies and gentlemen, what you can see on the left hand side is this photograph which has been taken, was taken in sector 33. This is the exact location of my house, and the other information which also is available here is, when I look at the photo details, is apart from the exact location, it has, this is the information which has been made available. If you are a lawyer, if as I am a lawyer, can you imagine the sort of information that this one single photograph can be put to use to in case of a matrimonial dispute? It is giving me not only the camera which under which it has been taken, it is giving me the date and the time it has been taken. The GPS information has been picked up from the mobile. The exact longitude and the latitude is also available. Now, is this the sort of information we actually want to share when we are on the net? The answer would be no. But if this is happening, are we actually even thinking about it? Let's take another example. Let's take a case of a keylog. Okay, let's take a case where you are, suppose you were required to access your email. You went to a public place. For example, when we go to the High Court, at times when we need to access our email, we need to download a document, we use the public computer which is there. That computer could also be the computer which is there in your computer lab if you are a student. This computer could also be the computer which is there, which you are using in your friend's place. Now, suppose I was a person who was using this machine, and I went to my own bank for the purposes of accessing that bank, and this computer is available on a public domain. As I said, it is there in the High Court, in the bar room where I am trying to access this. Okay, and well, this is something very interesting. If you would see, it has inadvertently come here. It comes as ICICIAMK.com. Now, this is what phishing is all about. People would try to put in this link by putting in ICICIANK.com, and they would try to create a phishing site out of it, which we might land up missing. Now, suppose here I went to ICICIBank.com, and this could also be, I'm logging into it. Perhaps you were logging in with your email on a public domain or a public platform. Okay, here it is. I put in my user ID. Okay, I'm not putting in my actual user ID, and I also put in my password. I write my password. Now, this, as I told you, was a computer which was there in the public domain. Now, if this was a system that was belonging to me, I would have installed a keylogger there. And what was this keylogger doing? This keylogger was recording everything that was being done there. If you look at this last one, which has been highlighted, and you look at the time here, 17th October 2020 at 17:16, and I am at 17:16 right now. This computer has recorded my login ID of my bank account. This could have been your email ID of your Gmail ID, and I typed in my password as the password which was there, and it has logged it in. Now, if your system, if you have used your system which is available in the public domain for the purposes of logging in, then I'm sorry, you already lost your information, your password. This password which controls your banking IDs, this password which controls your email. Now, let's go to a third before we go further. These are some questions I asked you in the survey. Can anyone see your photographs and post on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or another platform that you use? Unfortunately, more than 42% have said yes, that those photographs that you put on your various platforms can be accessed by anybody. Let's go further. Of this, male men, 53% have put security on the back foot. And women are much better at 28.57% only who are allowing it. But as we go further, this was the next question I asked you. Do you know everyone who's on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, that every group that you have on your WhatsApp, those 1,000, 10,000, 5,000 people which you have on Facebook, those millions, that's what we look at, on followers that we want on Instagram. This is the answer which I've got. Nearly 50% say that no, we don't have it. And if these are those 50% out of those people are there who have access to that information which you have given on Facebook or Snapchat or on Instagram, he has a lot of other information about you. And this information, that remember that 50% of the people you don't know on your groups, that same 50% of the people, this is a further answer that you have given to me. Out of 311 responses, 41% of you have said that you have been contacted by a person whom you have never met before. These are a person you've been contacted on WhatsApp or Telegram, a person you did not know. And ladies and gentlemen, out of the 142 men who answered this, 56% said yes, we've been contacted. 64% of women have said that we've been contacted by unknown persons, of a total of 60%. Now 64%, if these 64% would be part of those 50% who've got strangers as their friends, inverted commas, quote unquote friends, and these friends are the persons who are contacting us. Next question I asked you. Have you ever been harassed on a virtual platform? Please look at the answers. 18% have said yes. 18% say that we have been harassed. If I'm talking of 311 responses, 18% means about 50 people out of 311 have been harassed. Please look at the bottom. Please look here. 26.2% of women have been harassed and they have admitted so. And of this, 18.2% have admitted that they have been harassed by people who are not known to them. People who were perhaps their friends on the internet world. Now, these are three things which I've tried to show to you. These are three things which affect how and what I am doing. If I put in that photograph, I have that unknown person who's there on WhatsApp. He has access to that photograph. He has used that photograph. He's got my location. He's got everything about me. He might have information about my brothers, my sisters, my parents, where I live, that bedroom which I stay in. And when I asked you further that when you were contacted by this unknown person, whom did you discuss it with? I am sorry that 50% said that we've never discussed it with anybody. This 50%, because those 50% never discussed it with anybody, that person, so-called friend, became emboldened to harass more women and more people. If we do not discuss, if we do not tell our friends, if I do not tell people who are close to us that I have been harassed, how will that next person become aware of what is happening on the cyber world? How will they take precautionary steps? So, ladies and gentlemen, what we talk about is cybersecurity, and we talk about cybersecurity and prevention. We talk about you. We talk about your cyber privacy. we are looking at changing a thought process of how we look at the cyber world. I've asked you this one question. The emphasis is on you. Do you actually care about your privacy? Well, do you? Let's go further. The cyber highway, it's all digits, it's all zeros and one, which makes up our identity there. I have asked you if you're actually interested, please share your information on my mobile number, that's 700-909-7337. Please share your surname, spelled backwards, your city, the year of your birth, your mother's maiden name, and your first name. And I can only provide this because I can only generate 10 reports because of the work which I do. So if you are actually interested, please send in an SMS immediately. Great. Now, apart from this digital identity which the United Nations is giving us, how are we identified on the digital highway today? Is it not that everything seems to be revolving about our unique email ID? Is that not same unique email ID being used for every purpose, for every time we log in, whether it's for our bank, whether it's for our getting our books, whether it's even making an order on Swiggy or Zomato? Everything seems to be revolving around only our unique email ID. And how are we protecting that? We are protecting it with one password. Great. Now, what is the strength of that password? How many of you can actually find the password that you have been using in these 20 most common passwords which have been used in the year 2019? These are not passwords which I have generated. These are passwords which are part of breached sites, and there are about 100 million passwords. These are the top 20 of them. If you are there, kudos, you're the king. But are you really the king or the queen? Is the password number 4 being used by you? How convenient it is to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How easy, or we feel it's difficult, QWERT. How many of us are using it? Now, if your password was part of this list, then somebody already has access to your email ID. I asked you a question, how many of you are using your name? Out of 921 responses, approximately about 30%, which I'll put at about 260, are using your own name in your password. And I'm sure that 50% of you have your name in your email ID and you have your name in your password. And how many of your friends know you? Do I also sitting here would not be able to recognize your name? The answer is yes, all my friends know me, so they know my name also. So next question, how many of you are using your surname? Only 50% said that we've not been using it. Let's go further. Now, what I am trying to show here, this is an information which is available in the public domain, which people around you know about it. Your birthday date, your year of birth, have you not put it on Facebook? Am I not looking forward to getting greetings on my birthday? Answer is yes. And how many of us are using it? Approximately 22%. Is that again information that is not available in the public domain? How many of us are using our sister's name, brother's name, parents, school, or city? Does that make the password strong? We'll just go to it and I'll show you how strong that password becomes. Are you using 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, and are you using the word password as a password? Yes, I'm talking about password as a password. Please look at this. 10.6%. This would be of all the people I have done because some have not answered the questions also. They say that is approximately about 160 of only a figure of 1,518 are using password as a password. Are you one of them? If you are, then life is very tough for you. Look at this. Overall is 13.6%. That is, I'm excluding the people who have not answered me. 20 to 50 years are 10.07%. Is a person who's between 20 to 50 years not holding a bank account? Are you and me not holding a bank account? Are we not putting everything that we are earning into by using these passwords through our email? How many of us are using the password length? 8 is by default because I cannot use below 8, but only 7% are using 12 characters. The length of your password is directly proportional to the strength of your password. Let's go further. Now let's have a look at how does it go further. Word found in the dictionary. If I am a cyber, if I want to a cyber criminal and I want to break into what you are doing, the few things I'm going to do first is A, run those 10,000 commonly used passwords. B, I'm going to run the dictionary. Dictionary is downloaded in my system and I'm going to just run that dictionary. C, I'm going to run your name, your surname, your date of birth, which is available on social sites. And pronto, do I have your password broken? We've got computers which generate 2 billion keys per second for the purposes of generating different combinations. How much time is it going to take to break it in? If your mobile gets stolen, or the diary which you put on your table gets stolen, or your friend walks into it and he removes it, does your password also not go? If the password goes, does your mobile is that not available for anybody to use your email ID? I have lost my mobile. I have lost with that mobile. I have lost my identity because 19 to 18% of us have stored our password on our mobile. 37% of us say that I have shared my password. This may be with a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, why so much emphasis on your password? Because that one password that you use is what actually controls your whole life. We do not, because we want to make our life simple, we do not use those difficult letters which we find there. Look at your keyboard. Look at that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that row there. Look at above that ampersand and that apostrophes, that dollar signs, that those other signs which are there. We don't use it. Please look at this figure. Approximately 50% of us don't even think of using it. If we use those words, those symbols which are there, that is what would make our password stronger. That is what would make our security stronger. So, a few things that you need to keep care of is this. Okay, let's have a look at this. These are the 10,000 most commonly used passwords which have been available there. Password as password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Monkey is amongst the top 20 most commonly used passwords. I love you. Well, all of us, at least I can say because I'm beyond 50. In our when we were young, this was the word or the sentence that was we would always love to use, and perhaps you are also using it today. So if your if your passwords finds mention in any of the in these 10,000 words, then I'm sorry, it's not going to take me more than 5 seconds to break into your password. Now, we asked you how secure is your password. Okay, great. Now let us have a look at how secure is your password. Okay, let us go to this site, and yes, here it is. Now, initially I was using a password which contained an acronym of my name. So I used the word Sandy because I'm Sandeep Suri. Like Vikas would have perhaps used Wiki. Let's use Wiki for example. That's the time it's going to take to break that password. ICKY. Because if this is the password that you've been using, then I already have broken that password. Now look at when I continue to increase the length. I'm only adding a 1, 2, 3 here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the length of your password directly relates to the strength of your password, as I told you earlier. Okay. Few things that you need to keep in mind. Of course, Yogesh will be taking you through it a little later. Your password should be at least 12 digits long. Does it contain uppercase, lowercase, symbols, numbers? Is the password unique? Has it been changed in the last 3 months? Has it been changed in the last 3 months? Answer that question to yourself. We'll come back to that a little later. Now, you would say, how can I have a strong password? I have a password, so what I did, I converted an A into an ampersand and an O into a 0. Prompto, I've got my password. But is that a strong password? The answer is no. This is a bad password because everybody understands that this is the commonest thing that we are doing. So we don't use it. Now, here is a password which I've devised for myself. It's an easy password. It's not a difficult password. It's an easy password for me, it's a difficult password for you. Because I have made a password which is difficult for you because it controls my mind. Look at it, what does it contain? Does it contain those 88 different characters? Does it contain that top row of your computer? Is it containing what you see on your screens at the bottom row, those ampersands and the dollar signs and those equal to signs? Have you capitalized your passwords? The answer is for you to decide yourself. For those of us who studied mathematics can understand the power of the exponential, 2 to the power of 2, 3 to the power of 3, 5 to the power of 5. Now, if your password was 5 characters length, well, it would have generated about 60 million combinations is what it's going to generate. But ladies and gentlemen, the computer that you are holding in your hand, perhaps even the mobile that you are holding in your hand, it can generate up to 2 billion keys per second. And this is the time it is going to take to break it, 0.03 seconds. If it's a 7 character, it's going to take approximately 9 minutes. And 8 character, the length of that password, 2.6 days. 9 character, 9.1 years, 7.5 billion years if it's a 12 character password. But I am only talking of a 2 billion keys per second. Today's computers are, and these are computers which would be installed in perhaps in any of those bigger companies which we deal with, they are capable of generating 100 billion keys per second. So on a 2 billion keys per second, that 8 character which was taking 2.6 days is now only going to take about 12 minutes. So is your password strong? Is your password more than 12 characters? How do I have a strong password? What is your favorite poem? Jack and Jill went up the hill? What's your favorite lyric? What's your favorite song? What's your favorite Takya Glam? Teri Aisi Tei? Anything. So let's take for example, I choose for myself, for the purposes of making my password, I chose a line for myself. I started working in the Punjab and Haryana High Court in 1997. As a dictum, I set up for myself that the first 2 letters would form the part of my password and would be converted into an ampersand, and I will also convert the whatever other digits there. So I take the first 2 letters, and this is the password ISTWOINTHPU, and this is the password which is going to be generated out of it. Now, this is the password. I started working in the Punjab and Haryana High Court in the year 1997. I set up a further dictum for myself. I converted a 0 to a O to a 0, which is not the right thing to do. You should have converted it to something else. And 1997, a 1 into an exclamation mark and 2 dollar signs. This, ladies and gentlemen, has become a password. Now, is this password difficult to remember? Now, if you set up for yourself a dictum of how to do it, then that password is not difficult to remember. And it becomes a password which is strong. It becomes a password which is going to be difficult to break. So let us try this out. You could try this yourself also. Okay, I would go back to this site. I started working. I'm just typing that up. IST started working WO in IN the PH Punjab capital PU, and I put it in ampersand there. Haryana HA High Court HICO in PA the year YE, and I've got this 1997. Ladies and gentlemen, this even for today's supercomputer is the time it is going to take to break into my password today. So if you set up a dictum for yourself, then that password is going to become difficult to break. I'm using the word difficult to break. I'm not saying the word that's not going to be broken. Don't reuse a password. I asked you a question, how many of us have been using that same password at different sites? Now, when I go to Facebook, what I do is on that same password, I could have put an FB at the first, I used F and B at the end, and this is the password which I have got. Now, I am using it on Gmail. So on Gmail, again, I set up a separate dictum for myself, and I would have a password. I put say GM in the first. Now these have become unique passwords. Now, even if anybody gets hold of one password, he is not being able to break into my second password. Now, But is that actually what we do? Now let's go and try what I have been doing. You could try it yourself. Just type into your computer passwords.google.com and it will give you a complete array of what you've been doing over the years. Okay, put in passwords.google.com. Now here is what it gives me, a list of 191 sites. I decided to go on for a password checkup. So I just go for a password checkup. You can do it yourself. Just go to passwords.google.com. Let us see what it does and what is the result it gives to me. I have been, and I will have to admit, I have been pretty bad at it in my earlier years. Of course, subsequently, I have not been changing it because I want to demonstrate what bad things I have done. Okay, now it is checking my passwords for security issues. Great. 50 compromised passwords. Good morning. Here is it. That list, book my show. I've been using it for doing my ticket bookings. I've been reading Business Standard. I have been doing a course on Coursera. Well, 50 compromised passwords. And I have used my same password on different sites. That's on 200 times I've used my different sites, because we forget when we are on the net of how many times are we actually using and what are we doing on the when we are surfing on the net. They require a password. I give a password. I'm so happy because it's a password I have to remember. So because I have a password to remember, so I'll make it as easy it can be. I cannot have 450 different passwords, so I keep reusing them. Is that a good thing to do? The answer is no. Yogesh will tell you use a password locker. What does a password locker do? Password locker says that you have one main password, and for the it will keep generating different passwords. I will not go into it. Let Yogesh answer that. He'll also go into two-factor authentication. I'll just tell you what two-factor authentication is. Perhaps a lot of us are already using it. It is introducing something which is different from what you already have. One is your password, that is your identity. What it is also then something that you know, that phone that you have in your hand. That phone can only be opened by using a biometrics or by using a different another passcode that you have there. So those you entered two-factor authentication. That is what it helps to protect. But as I said earlier, it is not only that your password, if it's strong, it's going to protect you. Is it the end all of everything? Okay, I have my own email ID. Let's go to, you can check it out yourself. I put in on this site, it tells me whether my email ID is already part of a breach. So I put in my email ID .co.uk and let's see what happens here. What is the result that we get here? You could do it yourself. Go to this site called haveibeenpwned.com. Just give it a try. Ladies and gentlemen, my email has been on 15 breached sites and there have been 4 pastes. Let us see what are the different sites. Ixigo, January 2019. What information went from there? Authorized device information. What mobile I was using, my email address, whether I'm a male or a female, my name, and as I said, my password also. Now, if this was the same password which I've been using on different sites, was the same which was used on Ixigo. Ixigo is a site which I've been using for the purposes of making bookings for my family, for my wife, for my children. It's a lot of information I'm giving out there. They lost this information, my social media profile, my usernames, my phone numbers, and my passwords, as I said. Now, if all this information is going out, LinkedIn also lost this information. And well, the last one which it shows is in June 2020. That's not too far off. Zomato. How many of us have been using Zomato? Does our children, our family don't use it? The answer is yes, we've been using it. And if that same password that you've been using on Zomato was compromised, then a lot of people have that, your email ID and your password, which is already there. Who's been pawned? Let's look at this. Now, in India, unfortunately, we do not have what is called a statutory declaration if your site has been breached. Let us see in India what sort of information has already been lost here. Okay, I'm just searching for India. Okay, let's see it go down. How many of us knew that what carries our whole population was breached in November 2019? And what was lost there was email addresses, passwords, and usernames. Perhaps in that 583,000 unique email IDs and those passwords which you have reused on different places, perhaps your email ID was also there. Okay, now this was only one thing that we were looking at is, was my email ID being, just a minute. Has my email ID been part of a breach? Let's go down further. Let's look at the passwords that you've been using here. Okay, I told you that I was using my Sandy as a password. Then let me check out. Has this password which I was using? Well, ladies and gentlemen, 41,087 times it has been seen before on breached sites. VICKY. Because this might be having your password 16,594 times. If you are using your own name, SANDEP, 24,308 times. So was that, when I asked you that question, was it a good idea to have your own name as your password or your city's name as your password? The answer to this is no. We checked out your password. Now, how many of you, now we put a question to you, how many of you use the same password on different sites? 37% of us have admitted that we are using the same password on different sites. If you are one of those 37%, it is time to rethink. As I told you, we are only dealing with the thought process today. We are only dealing with what we have been doing. Please look at this. 50 years and above, I'm talking about my parents, perhaps we're talking about our grandparents. Their whole life savings are being protected by these passwords. 39% of them are using the same password. Perhaps that whole pension, that money which they have collected over the last 40 years is being protected by that same password which they've been using on other sites. Is it not time for us to wake up? Is it not time for us to get things into the right perspective? Person who's known to me, my family members. When was the last time you changed your password? When we talk of the cyber highway, we are talking of nanoseconds, milliseconds, microseconds. A second is too long a period of time. We have here 21% of people who have never changed their password. Your password was the password which was in that Zomato hack of 2017, in that 2019 railways hack, but you did not change your password. What are we doing with ourselves? Who knows your passwords? Of course, we've already gone through this. Okay. So a few things, which of course Yogesh will take you later. Update your passwords regularly, never reuse your passwords. Passphrases are the kings. Protect critical accounts and never store passwords in text. HTTPS, Yogesh will tell you. S means secure. Please use a site which is secure. Look at that site. What do you see before you? Is it yahoo.com or google.com? Is that correct? Please pay a little more attention. This is Yahoo, H-O-O, and this is G-O-O, google.com. This is a fake site. Okay, now if this is a fake site, see, but would you be able to distinguish between these two words, a O and a 0 on your mobile? And this is what cyber criminals are taking the benefit of. Because we do not pay much attention to it, what is happening on our mobile, and we cannot look at it. The screen size is so small that we are unable to look at it. And this is what is called is setting up of a phishing site. Okay, let's see here. What I am showing you now is a phishing site. What is there before you is a site of HDFC Ergo, correct? Is that correct? Yes, it's an HDFC Ergo site. Great. Now, I show you another site, which is also HDFC Ergo. Great. Here it is. Now we've got two sites. Both of them are HDFC Ergo. One on the left and one on the right. Correct? Now, can you distinguish between the two sites? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a phishing site which I have created. Okay, HDFC Ergo. Sorry, I have to open this. HDFC Ergo.com. This is the official site of HDFC Ergo. Okay, this is there before you, and what you have on the right is a phishing site which I have created. Great. Now, on your mobile, would you be able to distinguish between the two? On the left, please see here, hdfcergo.com, and what you see on the right is Subros Chandigarh. And I'll just take you, before I take you to that name there, see the extent to which we can it can be set up is am I audible? Because am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this on the left, ladies and gentlemen, is the original HDFC Ergo site. We've gone to the extent of making this site where everything that you find here is also available on the site, and what you see here is the site which I have created. It's Subros Chandigarh Jimdo Free dot whatever it is. It is not the original HDFC site. To the extent that we will put in a videos here what you found there. However, this site is mine. Whatever you do here will not take you to the original HDFC site. This takes you to another site where whatever you do, that information comes to me. Remember that survey that we've been discussing all that? Well, that survey is coming to me. Similarly, whatever you're going to fill here is going to come to me. This telephone number that you see there, if you are going to call up through your mobile, because 90% of us are now using the internet through our mobiles, that call will come to my mobile number because I have mined this site. Now, what sort of information I've been trying to take from you is your name, your email, and your mobile. The moment you call that or you send that information, this information, as I said, will come to me, and what will happen is, great, form was sent, somebody will get in touch with you in the next 2 hours. Who is going to get in touch with you? Is anybody from HDFC Ergo going to get in touch with you? The answer is no. I am going to get in touch with you. I am the person who has committed that fraud. I am a cyber criminal. You would never know because you went to that site. For you, it was HDFC Ergo. You wanted to make an investment. I started calling you up. So what you need to be very clear is, please look at that name. Name. Is that HDFC Ergo where it was going up to? Look at that capitalization. Look at that grammar mistakes in that site. Does that actually contain a live physical address, a phone, or an email? If there is any point which raises a hackle in you, think twice before you go forward. Is somebody offering you something which is too cheap? Think about it. Now, whatever is happening on the net is that our information is being sold. This information which is being sold is something which has value. We think that our information has no value. Our password has a value. Our email ID has a value. Ashley Madison, it might bring a smile on a few faces. Life is short, have an affair. This is exactly what that site used to do. It still does the same thing. It said that we've got so many 22 million anonymous members. This site got hacked in 2016-17. They said, when we protect all your information, it will not go out. There were people there, unlike me, who would go onto this site. They wanted to have an affair there. They were sharing their information. They were sharing their email ID. They were sharing their passwords. The site got hacked. This information got out. Now, when this happened, what happened? What information went out? Information went out in respect of mine, which was my email ID. And when this breach took place, what information also went out is that Sandeep Suri used to go onto this site called Ashley Madison. So he was a person who was trying to have an extramarital affair. Now, that means I have a different sort of a tendency also. Now, what happened is, now emails started coming to me. I won't beat around the bush. I do know Sandy XXS. Sandy is your password. Boom. How does he know my password? He knows my email ID, he knows my password. Goes further. Most importantly, I know about your secret and I have evidence of it. You do not know me and no one paid me. The truth is that I installed a malware on the adult videos porn and you visited the site to experience fun. You know what I mean. While you were watching videos, your internet browser started out working as a remote desktop, that is a keylogger. Keylogger. I showed you a keylogger earlier, which provided me with accessibility to your screen. So he says, whatever I've done on my computer, he's got access to it. He's got my password, so he does have access to it, and he's got access to my camera also. That means he has a lot of information. He says, now that I've got information about you, please see here on the right hand side, I've got videos about what you were doing. Pay me the money. If you don't pay me the money, I'm going to release this to everybody. What do? Man has my email ID, man has my password. If he has my password, he knows my information. He's got everything about me. But ladies and gentlemen, he did not have that. Because my email ID and my password was coming from a breached site. He took out that information from the breached site, from that information that was available on the net. And he combined the two of them, big data, sent me that email. He started playing a fraud on me. Investment scams today rank amongst the highest. Investment scam is like what I showed you in respect of HDFC Ergo. When you made that call, I called you up. I set up a trust with you. I said, okay, only invest 10,000 today. You invested 10,000. 1 month down the line, 15 days down the line, see, I made that 10,000 as 20,000 rupees or 5,000. I made it 15,000. You say, wow, he's made 15,000 out of 10,000 rupees. I give you 5,000 back. Now you are very happy. You started having a trust in me. Next thing I do is, great. You started having trust in me. You only invested 10,000. Now you please invest 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. You have trusted me because I made 5,000 out of 10,000 for you in a period of only 15 days or 1 month. So you invested that 1 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees. I vanished. That number was never of HDFC Ergo in this example which I am telling you. That number belonged to me as a cyber criminal. And if that was so, it's an investment scam. I've taken away your money. Same thing is happening with dating and romance scams. What is happening is people are showing themselves, and I can tell you a story about a woman from Australia who falls into love virtually with a person who shows himself to be a captain in the American army. He says, I'm coming to Bangkok. She goes to Bangkok to meet him. Of course, he's not there. Somebody else comes and meets her there, gives her a package, says that he's not been able to meet you. He's traveling now to Australia back. You can take this package. This lady, because she was madly in love with a virtual friend, person whom she had never known, she accepted that packet, and the moment she crossed customs, she was arrested for carrying drugs. This is the way what scammers are using our information which is there on the net. We feel that we have nothing to hide. We feel that nobody is going to be tracking us. Let us talk about your digital life. Okay, let's forget about your digital life. Let's talk about your nephew, your nieces, your child, your son, your daughter. Let's talk about their life. Let's talk about all those photographs that we and you as adults, 18 plus adults, put on Instagram, Messenger, Facebook. From the time that the child was born, he started crawling. From the time the child started running, those photographs were put there from the time he went to school. From the time he started growing up, when he had a problem in mathematics and I shared that information on Facebook, I am having a problem in mathematics. Can anybody help me? When he was 14 years old or she was 14 years old, I said that I have a great difficulty in handling this child. Can you help me? When that child became about 16 years old, and some information is put there that he has a medical problem. When this child became 22 years old and went for the purposes of an interview with, say, Amazon, And I had put, when that child was 14 years old, that he had a problem in his difficulty in understanding English, or he has a difficulty in understanding. What did Amazon or Google do? Or for that matter, ICICI or anybody else do? They took out the social profiles, they ran the social profiles. Amazon has admitted that 7 out of 10 were rejected because of what the social profile digging was being done, the data was there. They took out that social profile, they took out that information. Mr. Suri has been bad in English, so he does not fit into our profile and is rejected. Does my that information in respect of that disease which I was suffering from, is that information not important to my insurance company for repudiating my claim? Now, who has been doing this? You have been doing this. You are the person who's been putting those photographs there. As an adult, 1,300 photographs are uploaded to the social media of a child by the age of 13. When that child starts growing up, about 26 times that posting is being done on social media daily. Think about yourself. Are we not also doing the same thing? The answer is yes. And when, as things are growing, 2.7 hours in rural India is the screen time. 62.4% of children are spending up to 4 hours a day on the internet, which has increased during COVID times to 6 hours a day. We're going to have about 500 million internet users in the year 2023. And how many of these internet users are trained when it comes to internet? How many of them understand the problems of the internet? How many of them understand that how a child is to be monitored on the internet? Are we as adults trained to understand the problems which come with the internet? Sorry, we don't know. And the result is that today India is the child pornography capital of the world. The most online abuse content is coming from India. 1.9 billion reports of such material are from India, which comprises about 11.7% of the total reports. 37%, we are the worst when it comes to cyberbullying because we are not teaching our children. This exponential increase in child abuse is because of what is happening on the cyber highway. It is time for us to stop and think. It is time for us to stop and think that, is it the data? Is it my data? Am I using Google, Facebook, Instagram? Am I using or am I being used? Am I the product? Yes. Am I the product? What is the biggest lie that we've been speaking? Perhaps a lot of us are lawyers here. We tell everybody, do not say I agree to anything. And how many times have we been saying I agree the moment we want an app when it's free? Okay, I said I agree. Do you remember where you were, say, 5 days back at 5 p.m.? Where you were 1 year back? Where you were on the 23rd of January 2015? You don't know it. Let's go back to myaccount.google.com. I don't know it, you don't know it, but somebody out there knows it. Go to myaccount.google.com, go to data and personalization. You could do that on your mobile also. Go to myaccount.google.com, go to data and personalization, go to timeline, and let us see what Google knows about me. Ladies and gentlemen, Google knows everything about me from the time I started saying hello to Google, or I said hi Google for the first time. Right? Now, this is my whole history. It knows the 806 places I've been to. I asked myself, or you ask yourself, where were you on the 20th January 2015 at, say, on the 20th? This, I don't remember. Google knows where I was. I was at home. I went to the High Court. What time I went to the High Court? At 10:09 a.m. What did I do? Everything is known to Google. Okay, great. Now, what did I do on the next date? Where was I on the 21st? I was traveling to Delhi. What did I do on the 23rd? I had flown to Italy on the 22nd, 23rd. Where was I staying? Now, please see. Now he knows when that breach took place, he knows that mobile set which I've been using, that iPhone 6 or iPhone 7 or iPhone 8 or whatever it is, or the X6, he also now knows that I was staying at a 5-star hotel. So spend more time on breaking into him. Let's go further. What was I doing on the 24th? Now, what sort of other information is available there? Let's see. That photograph which I took when I was in Rome. That photograph which I took, which was in Rome, which is available with Google and which is available with Facebook and which has been shared with unknown number of people. They have that information which I showed in the beginning of my presentation, which contains everything about me. Now, if this is the way it is working, then am I safe? The answer is no, I am not safe. What else is Google tracking about me? Okay, let's see. What I am showing to you is I'm using my own mobile. I'm saying, okay, Google, and I'm going to make something, I'm going to speak into it. Okay, Google, are you tracking me? This is what I've
Here's a
asked.
summary from PC Mag India.
Okay.
According to a
Now,
recent report, Google continues to track your mobile device even if you've opted out of its
now
tracking services.
I go back
Google's
to
location history continues
data,
to store location data. Your
and I
activity
go,
is then archived.
then I go to my activity, and I just do a research again, reset again. Searched, are you tracking me? I did an ICICI Bank search, if you remember a little before. Details. Today, 1602, it is 1603, 1802, 1803. So what has Google been doing? That every word which I have spoken has also been recorded by Google. That Alexa that you have at home, it has recorded your every word. That Google Home that you have here, what do we do? What does Google Home or Alexa say? It says, okay, hi Alexa, or okay, hi Google, and it responds to us. But is it responding to us only at that particular period of time, or is it listening to me at 24/7, and it's only when those magical words are saying that it is responding to me? The answer is yes, it is responding to me only when those magical words are saying. Rest, it is listening to me. Apple, Google, Amazon, all of them have admitted that they had separate teams who were recording everything 24/7. They are people who have admitted it. Think of those 100 apps which you have on your mobile phone, where they are recording everything that we are saying. They are recording everything that we are saying, whether we are giving a consent or not. This is the sort of information that we are using. Every time that we are walking out of the house, that mobile, that GSM that we have in our hand, it is creating a detailed encyclopedia of everything that we are doing. Those 3 towers are at any given period of time following us. And yet, when it comes to I agree, we always say I agree because we don't even think about it. We asked you a question of how many of you have read the terms and conditions. Well, 50% of us said that we have read. And I'm saying of those 50%, all those 50% have given a wrong answer. 99.9999 recurring is where we have not read those terms and conditions. Let's have those terms and conditions. Let's have Facebook's terms and conditions. You want to see what Facebook has to say about you? Let's go to Facebook this time, okay? I am taking you to Facebook's terms and conditions. It can be Twitter, it can be Instagram, it can be WhatsApp. Let's go to Facebook. Have you actually read these terms and conditions? The 50% of us who said that yes, we read those terms and conditions. A person like you and me was paid to make it so large and so long and so non-understandable so that nobody reads it. Okay, I use this program and I find that what are they asking me? This policy describes Facebook, Instagram, Messenger. It also deals with WhatsApp. We collect information when you use our products, when you sign up for an account, create, share data, religious views. Is the government of any government not interested in the religious views or those political views? Let's go down further. What other information is it collecting? Okay, is it collecting this information whether I am on or off Facebook? Let us have this, please. Advertisers, app developers, publishers can send us information through Facebook business tools that they use, including our social plugins such as so-and-so, Facebook login. Provide information about your activities of Facebook, including information about your device, website you visit, purchases. Let's go further. As you see, how you use it, whether you use whether or not you have a Facebook account or are logged into Facebook. I pause here. How many of us opened a Facebook account 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and how many of have we actually started using it? Now, whether you are using that or you are not using it, whether you have a Facebook account or not, your information is being collected by Facebook. What is this information which they are collecting? You want to have a look at it? Let's have a look at this information. You can download that information yourself. Go to Facebook, go to settings in Facebook. Okay. I have downloaded it for your ready reference. You go to settings. Just a minute. And let's see what sort of information pops up. Go to settings. We'll find it here. Go to settings and privacy. Go to settings. It'll take you through a serial item. If you want it, I can share that information with you a little later. I'll just take you directly to what sort of information. I've taken you to your off Facebook activities. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the sort of information in a real time which they are collecting. Remember that Truecaller that we have here with us. Let us see what information they have about me. Just logging in. You can download complete information by making a request copy. Here it is. See, off Facebook activity. This means that it is not something even whether I'm looking into Facebook, whether it is logged in or whether I was on Facebook. Look at the sort of information that they have collected about me. The Truecaller is one of those apps which is perhaps each one of us has there. Yogesh will tell you whether we should have that app or not. On 16th of October 2020, they have shared 1,831 interactions of Truecaller has been shared with Facebook. And what is the sort of information which they've shared here? Now, these are the advertisers. I don't even know who they are. They are the information which is being shared with Facebook. This is the list of what I showed you of Truecaller. Part of that 1,831 entries it is giving me every time I have logged into my system. 9:46, 9:43, 7:43, 4:42 a.m. Every time I have logged into my system, this information has been shared with Facebook. Have I given Truecaller or have you given Truecaller the permission to do it? The answer is no. Yet, all this information is going out. So, did you actually read those terms and conditions? If you have, hats off to you, but I did not. Now, how are we being further tracked? Let's show you a very classic example of when I go to a different site, what is happening here. Okay. I show you this example of when I go to a different site or what sort of information is there. Now this, of course, I have loaded it a little earlier. I'm going to take you back. I'm going to just reset this data. Look at the top 7 sites, 61 third-party sites. I just reset this data. Okay. I go to the sites which perhaps you are also going to every other day, or you would be going to. Okay. While this just logs in, we'll have to just give me a minute. I'll have to just. Yes, so this is now you've got a blank sheet here. I go to make my trip. I go to Zomato. I do my ticket booking at Book My Show. I, of course, read the Times of India or the Hindustan Times or whatever you feel like reading. And what do I have here? See, now it is giving me those sites which I have been to. Times of India. As we just wait here, it says 4 sites, 2 third-party sites. Let's, while we wait for it to give me further information, let's just go further. We'll come back to this. How many of us have been reading various newspapers on the net? Just a minute. Just a minute, please. Good. Okay. It's getting a little slow, so you have to just bear with me for a minute. Yes. Okay, somehow, because I think the speed is not working, but what I wanted to show you, what initially itself I showed you is that I went to 6 sites. I showed you at 7 sites, but it was sharing information with 31 different sites. Let's see if it could just start in a little while. I'll come back to it. Okay. Because there is a lot of data that is moving in. So I go to this site called trachography.org. Now, what does this site tell me? This site tells me that if I am reading a newspaper in India, then is it only that I am only looking at what is that information is only being shared in India? The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is no. Much like that earlier site which I was trying to show you is that whenever and whatever is done, this information, you can do this, go to site called trachography.org. I just choose the country you want to be in. So I choose India. So I get all these list of newspapers here. Let's have where this information is going to. I suppose read the Forbes India. Great. So Forbes India is one newspaper I read in India. I read the Financial Express. I read the Economic Times. And perhaps I also go and see the, okay, whatever it is, ABC Live.in. Now, I have only read 4 perhaps articles in 4 newspapers. But what is happening here? Can you see this where this information is being shared to? United States, United Kingdom, Netherlands, Australia, it is going to China, it is going to Japan, it is going to Indonesia. And what is this sort of information which is going there? Your data is going to this particular country, okay? What is the company that is going to? Have you seen? Only 4 newspapers, 28 different companies this information is being going to. I Google Comscore. Have you heard of these companies? Dotami. What is it doing? This company is storing my information. Data retention is for 270 days. I don't even know these companies. Look at this AppNexus. This company is storing my information for 730 days. And this information which is being stored relates to individual device, online activity, such as device operating system, browser type, screen resolution, geographic location based on IP address, my location. This information which came to Facebook. Now, whatever I am doing, what is happening here? That information is being shared. Look at what had happened in the meantime. When I went to these 4 sites, they started sharing information with 19 third-party sites. This information, whatever I have been doing, is going to different sites where they are collecting my information and then they are sharing that information amongst each other. This would start connecting. Now, if this is the way, when my information, that single click, see 5 sites, 19 third-party sites, That app next says 730 days. It stores that information here. I went to Times of India. It shared that information with these different sites which were there. It went shared the site with Google. Google shared that information further with Zomato. Zomato shared that information through Google to Make My Trip. Make My Trip went to Make My Trip went to Book My Show. Now this is the way that information is going. My bank is also sharing information. See here, somewhere down the line they will start linking everywhere. I on and see here, my bank has also shared that information to Google. When it's gone to Zomato, it's gone to Make My Trip. So this is the way. Look at this number of sites which is continuing to increase. I am not doing anything here, but this information is being shared on the platform. It is just being shared for anybody and everybody to see. Now, this is the way, but what everything I am doing, every step I have taken, every word I have said is being has been lost. So everything, remember that keylogger, that is also gone. My camera, that CCTV I have at home, is that also sharing that information? You are looking at me through this particular camera which is there. You are talking to people there. You leave these cameras on. You don't stop it. Look at this particular camera which is there. This is in Rome. And you would think that no, this is just a photograph. No, it is not a photograph. You can see people there. I am handling this camera from here. See, I'm handling this camera. Now, this could be the camera that you installed in your own house. This could be your CCTV camera outside your bedroom. Now, if this was the camera which is there, now would this be able to generate to me the exact location where it was taken? Okay, let me just check this out. Okay, this was the camera, correct? Now, if this was the camera that was installed in your house, I go to a site called iplocation.com and I just put in that IP address. Now, this is the IP address where this particular camera was installed. Okay, here. This could be the camera that is installed in your bedroom, and I put a find there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly the latitude and the longitude where this camera was installed. This could be the camera, as I said, which is there in your house. It is the camera of your mobile. When we talk of a Wi-Fi, can we talk of a Wi-Fi as a system when I'm sitting at Cafe Coffee Day? Look at the bottom, Cafe Coffee Day. Look at the time, 11:07. Now look further. Look at the next one. Delhi International Airport, 11:10. Look at the next. Starbucks, 11:12. What is happening? I was there sitting at Cafe Coffee Day and I was the person who had set up a hotspot through my mobile. And when you walked out of Cafe Coffee Day to Starbucks, I started following you. And in Cafe Coffee Day, you were the person who had logged into my Wi-Fi. And this is the sort of information I had about you. I had the MAC address about you and I could follow you through the internet. So if you are using a public Wi-Fi, much like that public computer that you used where a keylogger was installed, do not use a public Wi-Fi, because I was the person who was sitting there, who was collecting that personal data about from you, from your personal computer, from your public Wi-Fi. I can take over your mobile. It will not take me more than 30 seconds. I can take over your mobile and do whatever I feel like. Apart from whatever is happening, what is also happening is tracking of our face. That CCTV camera that we find installed at shops, that CCTV camera that is installed at every place which is there. What is it doing? It is making an image of us, and then that facial recognition. Look at the number of points, 25,621 points is being shared. Today we've got cameras, cameras which have a resolution of 500 megapixel. Even in a stadium, it can be picked up. And our cabinet minister has said that more than 1900 Delhi riders were identified by facial biometrics. India is set to stand up world's largest government facial recognition database for public use. What happens if that particular photograph was of a lookalike like me? Phishing. What is happening in phishing? You want to have an idea of what phishing is all about? Let's have this real-time phishing email which I have got. Here it is. Okay, just give me a minute. I'll take you to the real-time email. Now, this was an email which I got, renew your account. I got messages which you would have also got from Amazon, which says log into Amazon. This is one of them which is still working. This comes from PayPal. He says verify your account. First thing, Yogesh will tell you, look at that email ID. Is that email ID from PayPal? The answer is no. See here, look at the bottom left. What is this going to? Is it going to a PayPal account? Look at the bottom left. It is going to a place called rebrand. I put in verify your account. What is it going to do? Their intention is only to collect my personal information. Whatever I feed in here, whatever I do, it is going to ask that information from me. Okay, I put in whatever password I put in here. What is it doing? It is, we noted some unusual activity. Whatever I do is going to do this way. Is look at here. PayPal verified service. Is this a PayPal account? Is this an Amazon account? Pay attention to it. Whatever I do here next is going to ask me my personal information. So I put in Donald Trump, who was born in 1970. My phone. My mother's name. Why my mother's name? I'll tell you a little later. And then the moment I click it, what does it want? It wants information in respect of my credit card, because that is the basic information they want about me. That is the basic knowledge they want about me, so that they can use that information and play a fraud. So if this is the way phishing mails are there, you need to be, when you get an email, please be very clear about it. It's not only phishing which happens through emails. I could have sent you now Bitly, HDFC Ergo. This would have come to my phishing site, where all this information would come to me. How many of us have received similar SMSs of 50 GB free data, 100 GB free data, free Netflix? All of us have got it. These were nothing but phishing. They were looking at collecting our data. One of the last examples I want to give you is how phishing can be done. This should be of great interest to lawyers. Equity, this was a bank in China who wanted to invest money in an equity. This is a British firm. Now, when that phishing mail, what this was announced in the newspapers, a person like me sitting outside, we set up a phishing email. We were setting that phishing email. I sent that phishing email to either equity or to bank. They opened that site. Malware was downloaded. What did I do? I opened a site like it was ICICIbank.com. I created a site ICICIbanks.com, bankservices.com. This was, say, Tata.com. I opened a file called Tatas.com. Now, since I was there inside that handling and looking at everything that was happening in that site, when that email went from bank to equity, on that one particular email, I changed that from ICICIbank.com or bankingservice.com to bankingservices.com, ICICIbanks.com. And that trail mail was left intact and I sent it to equity. Now, equity could not understand because of that one S, the trail mail looked like the same. They reverted back. I changed it, their email ID to financefirms.com from financefirm.com. Now what happened? Now every email that was being sent was not being sent here, it was being sent through me. And when finally, I was reading every email, and that when that money was to be transferred of $1.3 million, which was an investment from the Chinese bank, I changed the bank account. And where did that money come? That money came to my bank account, and everything else seemed the same. And this is something that is rampantly happening even in India today. How many? So the question is, how many times have we downloaded an email from an unknown sender? Look at this. Only 58% said no. Others have downloaded and they have even opened an attachment. Now, if I send an email and you open an attachment, that email would contain a malware which is being sent by me. That's a phishing email. It would take you to my site. You would have, and you would not know with whom you are discussing it with, whom you are exchanging that information. So, if you have to stop fraud, please think of it. Now let me see how many of you have actually given me an answer to it. Well, the results are out. I have here 7 people who have asked for personal information. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was a scam I played on you. You've been scammed. What is the sort of information I took from you? From all 7 of you, I have taken information and regarding your surname. I got your surname, your city, your birth, your mother's name, and your first name. Of course, I have not taken that one information. Have I taken that one more information? I've got sufficient data to call your banker and to operate your bank account, to get an OTP generated from there. You've been scammed. It's just so easy to play a scam. I have virtually been able to play a scam on you. I do not know who you are, yet you have shared that information with me. And this is what what is happening. We are sharing that. If it comes to my public privacy, I will not spend 50 rupees on an app to save my information, but I will be ready to receive a 200 rupees voucher of Amazon or Flipkart and share whatever belongs to me without understanding what is going to happen to me after that. Have you ever received now these messages? I told you, have you received all these messages? What happened in boys' locker room? Something that can happen to our child, to our nephew or our niece. The same thing happened. These children did not understand that there was a stranger in their group with whom that information was being shared. They did not, because I had a friend, my friend introduced me to that group, so I presumed all those were his friends. When I introduced somebody else, they presumed that they were all his friends. What happened? The net result. Now, this group was created by me, who was a cyber criminal, who wanted to groom all these small children into setting up and sharing their information. What is grooming? Is when someone builds an online relationship with a young person and tricks them or pressures them to doing something sexual. They set up this information. It can happen through Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, dating apps, online gamings. Because they're all live. They set up conversations online. They want to set up sexting there. They want to start exchanging sexual videos. They want you to come onto a live webcam where you, can be a child. So when this starts happening, and this happens with, I am talking about adults. When I'm talking about dating scams, this is what happens. They set up a trust, that confidence, because they are very good at lying. It does not make a difference to them whether you are a male or a female, because that is being sold on the net. Whether you are a boy or a girl, it does not make a difference to them. They will start sending lots of messages. They will try to set up that trust that you are somebody special, because once that it is set up that you are a special person with whom a special secret can be told and which should not be shared with anybody else, and you come to a position where they start asking you, don't you trust me? The only question you need to ask you is, do you really trust this person? Do you really know this person? And the word is really. We are not talking about virtually. It can happen to boys, it can happen to girls. They set up that they are the best friends because they will be after your life to become the best friend. They are the best. Are they a virtual friend? Are they a stranger? They could say nice things about your parents. You would say, how does he know I have black eyes or blue eyes? About the body, how does he know I am muscular or I am short? Everything is there that you've shared on the net. That information is what they have collected from the net, what we have shared, and that what they use to set up a trust, set up a personal secret. They will start following you virtually. They will start, and if it has been done, these are all warning signs. These are warning signs for a child. Even a voice can be faked. How can a voice be faked? You would not even know whether that person who's calling you is a man or a woman. Let's see this. Even a voice can be faked. These are again freely available on the net. Great, I take you here. Now, can you hear me? Has my voice changed? Anybody can answer that? Has my voice changed? Has my voice changed? Now, did my voice change here? Could anybody answer on that? So we don't even know who's there on that other side. I'm talking of virtually, who can even call you up. Never, never, ever meet up that person. Meet up that person in person. He is not your friend. He is a person who is unknown to you. He is a person whose They're on the virtual world only. He is a person whom you do not know. There is only one dictum, there's only one test, and that test is, would grandma, क्या दादी approve करेगी इसको? Would mom and dad approve of this? If the answer is no, then don't message, don't talk, and don't share. Talk, talk, talk. Yes, talk about what has happened with you with other people, because you will learn from other people's experiences, and those other people will also learn from your experiences. This world today, which we are talking of, cybercrime is about $1.5 trillion in 2018. It's growing up exponentially. Look at the one mobile app is blacklisted every 3 minutes. Criminal organizations are working like highly regimented, legitimate businesses. We talk of the dark web, the deep web, and the surface web. Only about 6% is what Yahoo and Google is able to find. Deep web is where documents or banking and financial records are there. Dark web is where a lot of happy things are happening. Silk Road is one of the classic examples. It's like our own Amazon and a Flipkart. Look at what you can find. This, of course, this site has been closed by now. Drugs, cannabis, ecstasy, you can find erotica, you can find forgeries, you name it, arms, you will find everything there. And why is this business so? You just can't beat them. Why? Because out of every 1,000 crimes which are committed, only about 100 of them are reported. And out of every 100, only 10 of them are being able to be broken. So we are looking at what? 0.1%. And there's a lot of money here. So my last question to you. Do you actually care about your privacy? I changed my question. Did you actually care about your privacy? Did you? Ladies and gentlemen, from my side, I've created the problems for you. The answers are going to be given by Yogesh. Yogesh, over to you. Yogesh?
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep. After all this, I can say that a lot of people would be thinking that it's just like a horror movie. What all troubles they can actually do it. But it was actually an eye opener, and whatever we have been receiving in the chat, they say it's an eye opener. And a lot of things what we have been sharing. Just hold on. Yeah, Yogesh, you can unmute yourself. So,
okay, thanks, Vikas.
Yeah. So we will be taking the questions subsequently, but the insights what you have actually given, it's quite enriching. And what are the way forwards? We will request Mr. Yogesh, as we said, that is into the helm of the affairs and not to the affairs what Mr. Suri was referring to, but in the affairs to take the things forward, how to protect ourselves. Over to you, Yogesh.
All right. So, thank you, Mr. Sandeep, for such a detailed information about cybersecurity and data privacy. I sincerely appreciate it. So hello, guys. A very good afternoon to you all. And let's quickly start with the brief introduction about cybersecurity and its considerations. So let me just pull up my slides.
Do I allow you the screen sharing?
Mr. Vikas, could you please?
Okay, just hold on.
Yes, please.
Yeah, allowed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay. So just imagine what was there approximately 7 years back, and nothing. No Facebook, no Twitter, no Instagram, and even no Gmail was there, right? So if you give 27 years back, even Google was not there. We were just playing the internet service providers for the email accounts. And how about 30 years ago? So there was no internet. Worldwide Web project was just started in 1991. But now in these days, in 2020, so this is the modern era of technology. So what internet has brought to us, like you can just imagine, online banking services are there, online shopping sites are there, online ticket booking, social media platforms are there, online recharges, bill payments, on-demand videos, movies, business transactions are there. So real life now has transformed into the virtual world, putting you into a much more vulnerable situation. So many new things are there, like making our life simpler. So however, there is also a darker side of this technology, and let's have a look for that darker side as well. So here is just brief about what exactly is the darker side of the internet. So apart from this pros of the internet technology, there are cons to this as well. So there are many malware available there, which we can put, so which can put us into a bad situation. So you'll be able to see so many viruses are there, so many worms are there, Trojan horses are there, spywares are there. So what exactly the viruses are? So virus is a special type of malicious code that requires you to actually do something before it infects your computer. And how about worms? So worm propagate without your doing anything. So they typically start by exploiting a software vulnerability. So these software could be your Truecaller applications. These could be your operating systems. These could be your Android devices, and these could be your Gmail applications as well. And apart from these worms and viruses, Trojan horses are also considerable. Uh, so Trojan horses, basically it's a program, or you can say it's a software that claims to do one thing while in fact doing something different behind the scenes. So just imagine like you are using a Windows laptop, and in behind you are also running a Windows update. So if the Windows update is the malicious one, so definitely it could be the Trojan horse, otherwise it's a genuine one. And another one could be the spyware. So spyware sends out information about what you are doing on the internet to a third-party website. So in case we would like to have an example for spyware, so Truecaller is the best example for that, because Truecaller from the front end is definitely providing you a good service to identify the unknown numbers. But at the back end, it is also taking or just picking up the personal information. You can say your personalized information data, or you can say the personally identifiable information. It is also capturing that. So here are the challenges basically related to data privacy and data security, which are majorly one, the data privacy, identity theft, data loss or breach, password leaks, and many more. So have you guys ever noticed a big hack a few months back, that is Twitter celebrities' account were hacked by using social engineering attack? Okay, so just imagine if their account can be hacked, why not yours? So earlier there were land mafias, drug mafias, but now in this modern era of technology, cyber security, not basically the cyber security, but cyber crime is the modern day mafia with hackers and crackers all around. So they are ready to just breach into the system and ready to steal your confidential, or you can say PII information. I hope you all know about the cyber crimes, and here are some few examples of the cyber crimes that might happen to you or to anybody. Like credit card frauds are there. Yes, so child pornography, cyber pornography, online gambling is there, email spoofing, defamation, phishing cybercrime, cyber terrorism, and many more attacks are there. So these are just the basic examples for cyber crimes. Next. So almost everybody nowadays uses Android devices, iOS devices, computers, laptops, internet plus online services, etc. Right? So, but do you know what exactly the information these devices are capturing from your devices? So they have your phone numbers, they have your contact numbers, call logs they are capturing already. So messages, OTPs, device IDs like IEMI number of your Android and iPhone devices. Your device location is already getting captured, how you are using those applications, and the most important part, your sensitive data, your bank details in the payment gateways, and your Aadhaar card numbers are also getting captured by using these devices. So just imagine, yeah, like you are using HDFC Bank uh, bank account on your mobile device. So to have the access of your bank account, you need to have some sort of application inside your inside your Android or iOS device, right? So And on the other hand, you are also having some malicious application installed on your laptop, or you can say the Android and iOS devices. So there are highly likely chances like these malicious applications could result into the data breach, which is related to your bank details along with your sensitive data. So how your privacy can be compromised using, like most of the people are not using a secure email, or you can say the web email accounts. So by that way, your privacy can be compromised. Using a work email account for your personal use, website interactions can be monitored via phishing attack, as Sandeep has already explained you about, via phishing, which is also known as voice phishing. Like somebody's calling you on behalf of banking services and will ask you about to share the OTP. So this kind of activities are also known as phishing. Using unsecured Wi-Fi networks, like in case you guys are like traveling to some other state, and now you are just connecting with the railway station platform Wi-Fi network. So that Wi-Fi network could be the public one. It might be possible like this is the insecure one. And not using the encrypted links, or you can another way you can say using unencrypted links for sensitive communication, and not using the VPN kind of networks, not using secure websites when doing the banking or payments online, and not using the strong passwords. So let's check out how we can avoid the identity theft. So before that, you need to understand what exactly this identity theft is. So in case you are just speaking about the identity theft, so identity theft is when someone else uses your personal information to impersonate you on any platform to gain benefits in your name while the bills are addressed for you. So it's just an example. Identity theft can cause you to damage more serious than the financial losses. So reputational loss could be also there. So the most common reason for identity theft is improper management of the sensitive personal data. So there are some things to be avoided when dealing with the personally identifiable data, or you can say PII. So those tips are: never share your sensitive personal data such as Aadhaar card number, or you can say the PAN card number, SSN number, which is mostly getting used in US, with anyone whom you do not have any trust. Do not post sensitive data on social networking websites. And as an example to this point, you can say, like in case Yogesh is sharing his bank account numbers over some social media websites, his personal photographs, his personal details. So these details, or you can say these kind of personal data or sensitive data could result into the data breach. Next, to do not make any personal information on your social media account public. So in case you are uploading some sort of sensitive information or personal information over your social media accounts, so do not make it publicly available. Please do not share your OTP related to your bank accounts or Aadhaar card numbers. And if you receive any unnecessary OTP SMS about your bank account numbers or bank accounts, so just be aware, like this could be a malicious attempt as well. And the last one, do not fill personal data on website that claims to offer benefits in return of your personal data. Okay, so let's have a look on some security considerations to prevent these kind of cyber attacks. Okay, so read terms and conditions and privacy policy carefully. So now these days, most of the websites are already just coming up with the idea to provide terms and conditions and privacy policy over their web applications, their software applications, and over their websites as well. So whenever you visit any website or install some sort of applications in your mobile devices, your iOS devices, your tablets, or your computers, you must read the terms and conditions and privacy policy sections carefully. And these sections will speak about whether what kind of data they are collecting, whether they're collecting any personal data, yes or no, where your personal data will be stored and how this data will be processed, and what exactly the data subject rights or the individual rights you guys are having, and what exactly is the data retention and data destruction behind your personal data. So these are the major points which you guys need to look into while going through the terms and conditions and the privacy policy related to any website. So There are numerous third-party tools that aim to make this easier to access your data via privacy settings. So always make sure that you know about the privacy settings of your devices. Just give me one moment. Okay. Okay, so this is the example you can see over the your screens. So first example is the privacy settings over your Android devices, and second example is the privacy settings over your you can say the Windows devices, and the last one option is for the last one option is for the Android device. So you can just go into the settings part and you can check the privacy settings which these applications are using. So next one is also check your social networks privacy settings regularly, because Facebook and other social media networks or channels change these kind of privacy settings from time to time. So it is your responsibility individual to check these kind of privacy policy and privacy settings from time to time. Okay. So do not install any third-party applications, softwares, or browser add-ons unless it is from some source of authentic sources. And these applications may contain some malware, adware, and spyware as well. So in case if you still need to install, review it first, check if you're downloading it from the authentic sources, and then only just proceed further to install some sort of applications. And some authentic app sources are the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and the last one would be the Windows App Store. So in case you are downloading any application apart from these 2 or 3 different sources, so just be careful and read the privacy policies and the conditions, especially related to these applications and the softwares. Okay, this one is again an important one. Do not give application access permissions to any application if it is not required. Always check for application permission, and if not required, directly deny them. Because when you guys are using the Truecaller, means I'm just pointing it out on a Truecaller part, because personally I'm not using Truecaller due to just privacy reasons. So whenever you are just installing any sort of application inside your devices, just read what exactly the permissions it is looking for. So in case you find these permissions are not the necessary one, directly deny them. So everybody has these kind of application by default installed in their devices. So many of us already have the Mi devices, which is already built in China. And so most of these Mi devices are already pre-installed with some sort of applications which are from China or manufacturers, right? So the applications like from Siri from Apple, Google Now from Google, and Cortana from Windows, by default, the nature is to collect a lot of information about you to be effective one. So be alert while using these kind of devices. Like these devices are continuously listening to you, and whenever you'll say, "Hey Siri," it will automatically raise and start following your instructions. So be careful while following these kind of practices. And this is again the most important one. Use antivirus and anti-spyware in your devices, especially if you're connected to internet. So here we have mentioned a few of the important and the famous antiviruses. So a few of them are McAfee, Bitdefender is there. Sophos is quite a new one, but the most famous one. Avast, Trend Micro, Norton by Symantec. So these are the quite a few examples for those. So this one is check and verify the sender details. If you receive emails or text messages from the senders you weren't expecting, so check and verify the sender details before responding to these messages. So this tip is already explained by Mr. Sandeep Suri very well. So I hope you have already getting the things what exactly we need to perform when we are receiving any sort of unwanted emails or text messages you weren't expecting. Use password management tools to manage your passwords. So using a tool such as LastPass is a must in these days. as it allows you to just manage different kinds of password on top of your just a single password. So where available, use two-factor authentication such as password and a fingerprint scan, or you can say the OTP along with your normal password. So whenever you are trying to just log into this system by using your password, so it is just one-step authentication. So it is highly suggested just to implement two-factor authentication. For example, you are putting one password, and after putting the password, the system will ask you to provide an OTP so that the system can authenticate you to just log into the system. So always enable your two-factor authentication whenever you are using some sort of cloud-based applications. Secure your accounts and devices like your home router with a strong password, and if possible, enable two-factor authentication for your home routers as well. Because like we have seen, like most of the users are not enabling their passwords related to your, you can say the home CCTV cameras and your home routers as well, because most of the home routers and CCTV cameras are without a password. So it is highly recommended just to put a password, and if possible, just enable two-factor authentication for these devices and these applications as well. Backup your data regularly to avoid any data loss. So if your data is lost, you can restore your data only if your data is already backed up. So data backup is super important nowadays, because like if your company or like if you're working for a software company, so you already know the importance of this data backup. Otherwise, if you're working for some sort of manufacturing company or pharmaceutical companies, so there is a need to just retain the trademarks, copyrights, some sort of these kind of like IPRs. So to maintain these IPRs confidentiality, you need to have some sort of mechanism. So data backup is one of those controls which you guys need to take into consideration. And in case you guys need to have some sort of data backup related to your Android devices, you can just look into the settings part and just hop onto the accounts and backup, and you can easily configure your data backup from these devices. It is again from the email security part. Do not follow directions or links from emails or text messages you weren't expecting. So this may contain malicious content attached to these kind of emails or messages. Okay, so use a virtual private network, which is also known as VPN. So VPN is virtual private network, which gives you online privacy and anonymity by creating a private network from a public internet connection. So it allows you to transfer a data in an encrypted format. So there are two examples which we have already given over the screen. So this example is showing like your data connection is already encrypted with the VPN tunnel. So just take an example, like Yogesh is working on internet on his Android device without a VPN connection. And on the other hand, some Swati girl is there who is using the VPN connection. So Swati's connection would be more secure rather than as in comparison with the Yogesh internet connection. So it is highly suggested to always work behind the VPN in case your network connection is not the encrypted one. Okay, so use HTTPS enable secure websites. So here is the example given on the screen, which you guys can see clearly. At the extreme left website, it is the insecure one, and the extreme right website is the secure one. So most of the banking websites are the secure one, and it contains always the HTTPS connection. So HTTP stands for like to transfer the data over the internet. So HTTPS is the protocol, and S stands for secure. So if this protocol, which is to transfer the data over the internet connection, is the secure one, so it will be something like HTTPS. If the protocol is not the secure one, you'll not be having the HTTPS connection in front of your website name. So whenever you are trying to reach to some sort of banking application or banking website, always make sure it is starting from HTTPS connection. So and one more thing about the HTTPS connection is, so HTTPS connection make sure whatever data is getting transferred from the host-based machine to the banking servers. So that data firstly get encrypted from the host-based device, and then the encrypted data transfers over to the internet and finally reaches to the server side. So it is the encrypted data over the HTTPS connection. So most of the free applications includes the advertisements, asks you to put credit card number before starting your free trial version, a redirection to some sort of third-party malicious websites, collect your personal data and sell your data into the dark world, and also the malware including backdoors. So it is highly recommended to use free application with an attentive mind in case you want to use any, but always go for the paid one, because paid one are always providing some sort of security to your data. And make sure you have gone through the privacy policy and the terms and conditions specifically related to the freeware versions of these sort of softwares and applications. So on the screen, you can see two versions are there. The left one is the YouTube Premier version, and the right one is the YouTube free version. So along with the YouTube free version, what you guys have noticed so far is you are getting so many advertisements day by day. So these advertisements may result into redirection to you, some sort of third-party applications or third-party websites. But with the premium version, you'll not be getting any sort of advertisements inside your YouTube account. So by this way, you'll be free from any kind of adverts or malwares or some sort of backdoors in case you are just buying the premium versions. Okay. So another way you can put your computer at risk of a virus infection is through unpatched software or operating systems. So keep your devices up to date, and these are must to patch the vulnerabilities available in your system. And you can also check for the updates available under the update section in your respective devices. So we have just pasted two screenshots. So the left one is for the Windows update, and the right one is for the Android update. So these days, like Android means we are frequently receiving Android updates just to safeguard our data. Okay, and Windows updates are also necessary because it provides you some sort of security, so that it can provide some more technical measures so that your data cannot be breached by some sort of malicious applications or some sort of backdoors. So always remember to have your devices up to date in case you want to protect yourself from data breaches. Okay, so this is my favorite one, say no to torrents. So torrents are the softwares available to download the paid content or application for free of cost. Well, downloads for free, there are highly likely chances to receive malwares with the downloaded files. So it is recommended not to use torrents anymore, because most of the technical guys are using torrents to download some sort of free application, movies, and some sort of different versions of technical lectures. So in case you are downloading something for free, definitely you're getting into the wrong hands. Okay, so there are a few things that you should be doing as soon as you realize you have been hacked. So firstly, file a formal complaint with the police and inform the other relevant authorities. Try regaining access to your compromised account by utilizing secondary contacts. So secondary contacts could be your mobile phone numbers or your secondary email addresses. Reset your password for other accounts and websites that were, you can say, using the same password as the account that was compromised. So in case, just as an example for this point, in case you have 3 or 4 different email accounts and you're using the same password for all these 4 different email accounts, and now you realize your one account has been hacked, so better to reset the password for the other accounts as well, because there are likely chances like these accounts again going to be hacked by using the same password. And in case your device is getting hacked, so perform a factory reset and proper formatting of your device that are affected, and basically it could result into your data privacy or data breach as well. So it is always a suggestion or recommendation to perform a factory reset. And the last one is stay aware of current data breaches and other incidents of the cyber world to prevent such incidents from happening again and again and staying safe online. Okay, so this is my super important one and the most favorite one, last but not the least. Various countries are also creating data privacy and data protection legislations or acts to ensure data privacy and security of the individuals, or you can say data subjects. So here are a few data privacy standards. So the first one is HIPAA, GDPR, CCPA, ISO 27001 is there, PIMS, and especially for India, PDPA is also there. So first one is HIPAA. So HIPAA is for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, basically to protect the healthcare information. Second one is GDPR. I hope you already know about GDPR. So GDPR is General Data Protection Regulation to ensure data privacy and security of the European Union individuals. The third one is CCPA, that is especially for California Consumer Privacy Act to protect California residents' personal data. And ISO 27001 is there, which is also known as Information Security Management Framework, which is there to just provide technical controls so that any company or any organization can just implement this ISO 27001 to protect the confidential information along with the information assets, which is valuable to some sort of companies. Okay. So for Indian Data Protection Framework, you can get more details about this Indian PDPA from this mighty website, and the link for the same has been given onto the slide. So in case you guys want to have a look for Indian Data Privacy Framework, so this is the link for that. And you can just easily hop onto the website, that is mighty.gov.in, and search for Data Protection Framework. And you will be able to download the full copy of Indian PDPA Act. Okay, that's from my side, and we are open to queries.
Yeah, thank you, Yogesh. The way you have given the checks and balances, that's great.
Okay, so now we can, I think we can take up the questions related to.
In fact, I will. Sandeep is also there. He can also take the questions.
Okay.
Because initially the questions were coming. This is by Azad Singh. My query is, when so much of personal information is freely available on the cyber world, example Facebook, without users' consent and there is sharing of every information, then what is the use of two-step authentication process for having passwords? Please give your insights.
Well, I'll just take that one. Every moment we are generating more information. Whatever has gone, has gone.
Sandeep, your video.
Okay, sorry. Because this is one of the primary things which Yogesh has also brought out, that if your laptop is on, please ensure that your camera is taped up, because you don't know, like, whosoever is looking into your camera and looking into what you are doing. So that's one of the basic security reasons also. Okay, I look at it from this point of view, that whatever information is gone is one part of it, but at every moment and at every second, at every keystroke, at every word which we are saying, we are generating more information. Now, are we not interested in protecting the further information which is there? A two-factor authentication is basically, as Yogesh has pointed out, it is creating a multiple positions to prevent a person from getting into my personal data. So two-factor authentication is basically protecting my password, is protecting my sites, it is protecting anything and everything I'm doing. Because in two-factor authentication, now I have a device which is in my hand, which is not with anybody else. I will receive a message on that, and that device can only be opened by me, by another password or by my biometrics. So it is preventing, if anybody is trying to hack into that, say, email, he will not be able to do it.
This is O.A. Srinivas. He says to access to the sites, we would accept their terms and conditions, or otherwise we would not get any information. So what is the remedy for that?
Yogesh had pointed that out. When you got a YouTube and you got a YouTube Premium. Now, what is that information you want to share? I gave a very classical example that if I am asked to pay 50 rupees to say access YouTube, I'm not ready to do that because I'm paying 50 rupees, though it is going to be protecting my personal information. But at the same time, when it comes to YouTube, that is YouTube Premium. Now, YouTube, at the same time, for YouTube free version, which comes with ads and which is also taking away my personal identification information, because I am getting it free, so I am ready to do it. I am ready to give out my PID for my an Amazon voucher. For example, like what are we doing when we are going to say Reliance store, or we go to M&S, or we go to any of these? What do they say? Please fill in this form. We'll give you a 10% discount on your birthday or on your anniversary. And what are we giving? We are giving out our all personal information for what? For that one 10% discount on my birthday or anniversary. We don't think about it at that stage. The same thing applies on the net also.
This is by Advocate Peter Jayaprakash. Is Kaspersky Network Security a good antivirus software? What is your call? Yogesh, you will have to unmute yourself.
Yogesh, unmute here.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so Kaspersky is again the good one, but it's all about like in case we are just going to the market to purchase some earphones. So there are multiple companies out there like who is providing some sort of earphones. Like somebody is providing a good quality of bass. Some companies are providing a good product in terms of material. So it totally depends upon like what kind of security you are seeking for from some sort of internet security platforms. But Kaspersky is definitely a good one. But there are much more options available in the market, which is better than Kaspersky.
Yogesh, could you just suggest a couple of them? We just suggest a couple of them.
Pardon?
So Bitdefender is there. So Note 32 is there. ESET is also there. Avast is there. So I think let me just hop onto a slide like we already showcased. Okay, so these are the different versions you can use for internet security. So Sophos is there, Bitdefender is there. Trend Micro is quite a good one because recently we just evaluated Trend Micro. So Trend Micro is providing a good quality of services in terms of privacy. So Norton is also there. But if you think of the top three, Trend Micro, Sophos, Bitdefender, and these three are the best one.
This is by Stinlos. Is it safe to use PayPal to get consignments from abroad, because PayPal debit $1 from our accounts without our knowledge, like without any OTP?
Okay, so let me take this question. So whenever there is a transaction related to some sort of international companies, so they'll not be asking you for a consent to allow a deduction of any amount of money from your accounts. So in case Yogesh is paying something from his debit card number or like from credit card number, the international companies will not be asking for some sort of OTP just to authorize that particular transaction. So in case people is not asking for the OTP, it's quite fine with them because it is getting covered under the international law. It is not getting under the Indian law, to have a mandatory option for OTP. So for not getting OTP is fine with PayPal. And yes, PayPal is quite a safe option because most of the companies are also using PayPal to get money from the external clients which are out there from US, EU, or you can say Canada kind of countries. So PayPal is quite a safe option.
Mr. Sandeep, Lavanya has posted a question. Data localization, would that help India, like the way Russia is doing it to protect the data privacy of the individuals?
Yeah, I would not be perhaps the right person to answer on that, but because I have a very contrary view to it. From a technical point of view, you cannot localize data. You cannot say that this particular bit will only transfer between, say, Delhi and Madras, because as I showed you, even if you're reading one newspaper, that information has traveled through 7, 8, 9, 10 countries. I also showed you how that information is being shared between different, we went to 5 different sites and 55 different sites were looking into what information we were doing. Now, can you say that data localization, if I'm sharing data with Google, because I have a payment gateway, that payment gateway is, suppose Zomato and ICICI, that is being linked through, say, Google, somewhere down the road. Now that Google, can I say that information between Zomato to ICICI is going to only travel through India? The answer to that is going to be no. For me, what they say is the storage of localization of data in India and perhaps what they're saying in Russia, but is that feasible? The answer to me technically is no. It cannot be done. Because every key which I'm doing, even if you're saying, okay, for example, when I'm sending an email, now it's not that one copy of that email is being saved. That one copy is saved in my system. I have a Yahoo account, you have a Gmail account. Yahoo is saving that. Yahoo sends it to Gmail. Gmail is saving that. Gmail, if suppose you are using Outlook there on your Gmail account, then Outlook, Microsoft is saving that. And now this data has traveled throughout the world in the milliseconds. So can you say that data is going to be localized in India? The answer is no.
This is by Lavanya. Being data conscious would be a shield to all individuals in the days to come. This is a call.
I think the last 2 hours was only on this. Because data privacy is what you're going to say for yourself. We've already given out whatever was there. We need to stop somewhere, and perhaps we need to stop today. We need to stop at this moment.
This is by Sumit Singh.
I would like to add more on data localization. So data localization is very hard to implement because the nature of the website and the web application is totally a different one from data localization point of view. And this is the only reason for the delay for Indian Data Privacy Act, because the Indian government was totally focused on data localization, and that is not the correct way to localize data and to protect especially data. Because in case you just look at a website, just let me open a website just to showcase you why this data localization is not a feasible solution.
Because sharing a lot.
Okay.
Because just now sharing for Yogesh.
To Yogesh.
Yep.
Yogesh. Data sharing. Meanwhile, I can take a question. What are the? This is by Sumit Singh. What are the effective technical steps one can take to protect the important credentials like username and password while using the cloud-based systems like Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and AWS with some predefined settings in the firewall settings?
Yogesh, again for you.
I need to have this question again. I've skipped some part, I think.
This is by Sumit Singh. What are the effective technical steps one can take to protect important credentials like username and passwords while using the cloud-based systems like Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and AWS with some predefined settings in the firewall settings?
Okay, so while storing the credentials inside the cloud-based platform, so basically the nature of the cloud-based platforms is totally a different one, and it is not just only limited to the storage of credentials inside the cloud platforms. So whenever we talk about AWS, Azure, or some sort of other cloud-based platforms, so this is just only limited, or means these are the various versions of cloud-based data storage platforms. So ultimately, we need to just safeguard our credentials by using our own tools. So just assume like Yogesh is using approximately 500 plus accounts, which are related to some sort of email applications, social media, and some sort of other platforms as well. So I need to have some sort of password management tool just to store all those credentials inside my system. And definitely the cloud-based platforms are providing some sort of protection just to encrypt the data inside their databases. So what you can do is you can encrypt data inside your AWS cloud, your Azure cloud, or any sort of cloud-based application which you guys are using. So the encryption would be there. Second level, in the database, you can implement data field level encryption. And in case you want to encrypt the data which is in transit, so you can implement TLS 1.2 protocol just to have the encryption in place between host to server. And apart from these sort of encryption technologies, you can also have a look onto some sort of password management tools, which I have already provided in the slides. And the most important one and the free version of the software is named as KeePass Password Management Tool. So in case you want to go further with the password management tools, so the password manager is, I think KeePass is the best option, which currently I'm using for personal use. And secondly, you can also look out for the paid version, that is LastPass. So LastPass is providing a cloud-based platform to secure your credentials out there on the internet.
Just
Right. So, there is one more important information. In case you guys are working on your laptops and need to check what kind of data these websites are storing on behalf of you. So, what you can do is I've just opened one website, that is google.com, right? And just hit F12 button, and you'll be able to just see one console, right? So this console would be appearing in your applications, or you can see the Google Chrome application, and just hop on to these are the various parameters out there, and just go into application part. Okay, and whenever you'll be just seeing the application part, there is in the left hand side there is storage option, and you can see cookies. Okay, so these websites are using different kinds of cookies, which is just not localized, but it's getting transferred from one website server to another, right? So you can just click on google.com. So just only one server of google.com is just storing these many cookies. And I think it's approximately 15 different kinds of cookies are there just only for one specific domain, that is google.com, right? And how to read what kind of data it is storing. So first field is name, this one. Second one is what kind of value it is storing inside your cookie. And the third one is domain. So domain could be anything. It could be your google.com, it could be your facebook.com, and it could be anything. So even your single domain, in case you are visiting google.com, so google.com can have google.com, facebook.com, and multiple domains could be there related to this cookie. And it is not just limited to these kind of cookies. So you can just hop onto the system like local storage. So local storage is the basic storage which is persistent in nature inside your browser. And you can just look into this picture, like what kind of data these applications or these websites are storing inside your web browsers. So all this information is related to you only. And this information is getting used to just showcase different kinds of advertisement. Like in case I'm searching for some sort of mobile phone, so whenever I'll be just opening some other website, and in that particular website I'll be just having advertisements related to the mobile phones only. So how these websites are capturing my interest area. So this is the cookies only which is tracking my activities inside any browser. And definitely it can help you to identify what kind of cookies are there. And one more important thing, every Data Privacy Act is allowing the data subjects, or you can say the individuals, to access their data subject rights. So in case you are visiting google.com and want uh, about what kind of data this Google is accessing, so you can just write an email to Google, okay, like, hey Google team, I would like to have a knowledge on what kind of data you guys are storing in your database. So it is a mandatory requirement from these data privacy laws. Like Google need to provide you all these details which the Google servers are storing on your behalf, and like they need to have a copy, and they need to provide you a copy of your personal data as well. And you can execute your rights at any time, and with any sort of account. That's it. Thank you.
This is by Lavanya. All apps and websites have the click wrap agreements, which is mandatory for a user to access their services. How can a user navigate from this?
Uh,
Mhm.
Now, if we are talking of an agreement, as I said, the moment I use the word I agree, I have actually cut off my hands to a very large extent because I have actually given them the consent. And these are now being recognized as legally binding agreements. Though I would go a step further now because uh, if I look at, say, the new Consumer Protection Act, and I talk of it in the sense that was the consent which I have given, is it an informed consent? Then we as lawyers do have an area where we can actually get into and say that these provisions are not there. However, having said that, an agreement, whether it's a click wrap agreement or otherwise, these have as of now a binding effect. When it comes to navigating them, uh, as Yogesh said, what sort of permissions you want to give at the time when you are loading, say, a particular app, that is something that we will have to decide. And unfortunately, what is happening is that we are giving all permissions without considering the implication of the same. These click wrap arrangements are providing me with, if I say let us take Facebook for that matter. He says face recognition, you have an option. Earlier it was mandatorily switched on, now you have an option to switch on. So if it was earlier mandatorily switched on and I did not say no to it, I have accepted it under the click wrap arrangement, but then I have not read that. So those terms and reading those terms and conditions and what options and what sanctions we are giving, that is of course what we have to decide.
Uh, Now we're taking a few questions from the YouTube. Poonam Maheshwari, what are the remedies available under the cyber law to the affected party?
Poonam, there is we'll have to take another long webinar on that. But I'll share, there's been a very interesting ebook which I was just reading the other day. I think Cyber Girl something that came. You could just download that. I've given a complete for every violation. They've given a very complete detailed data. I can share that with you. So you just put in your email here. I'll share that ebook with you.
This is by R. Chandrasekhar. Hackers are being encouraged even by the government and private organization. I hope for vigilance and intelligence activities. This is a bar. What is your opinion?
Yogesh is actually a hacker. He'll answer that.
Okay, so hackers are of like various types. Like one is ethical hacker, and the second one, second one are not the hackers, but they are basically called as crackers. So definitely, if the skills or the tools and techniques are getting used in a positive direction, so definitely we are calling them the hackers. But those hackers are ethical hackers. So yes, the government are using, or the government is using the hackers for some sort of cybersecurity considerations or cybersecurity implementations across India. And most of the countries have already get in touch with the hacking kind of activities, and of course the ethical hackers as well, just to implement and just to safeguard and to implement much more technical controls related to cybersecurity. So yes, in case we are talking about hackers, and so most of the hackers who are ethical, so are already providing the services to governments in a positive direction.
This is by Poonam Maheshwari. Sir, your views on Data Protection Bill 2019?
No, I would not like to say anything right now because from the original, what as per the Sri Krishna report, what was their original and what is there today, there is a world of a difference. The amount it has been watered down is not funny. Of course, it's lying before the committee. What they get through and what they get out is a big question mark.
In fact, for more insights, they can watch we had one of the sessions like this only on data privacy by Sharvanya Lakshmi Kumaran. So she can have details from that. So this is, do using incognito mode help in not saving cookies and thus not tracing our activities? What is your call on that?
Correct. So by using incognito mode, like it is not allowing the websites to track your cookies and to remember any kind of histories out there inside the web browsers. So incognito mode doesn't mean like the cookies are not going to work for that particular website, but yes, the cookies will not be lasted forever. So incognito means the history will not be saved, your passwords will not be saved inside the browser. But in case the job of the website is to store your data inside the website servers, so it will not defend you to transmit the data towards website servers. So it is just only for the client side, like the tracking would not be there, just only limited to your web browser. But apart from the web browser, everything will be tracked.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep and Mr. Yogesh. I think we have taken all the questions. And it was quite an insightful session, and that too on a weekend, wherein generally the lawyers and the professionals tend to relax. But as they say, new is the normal. After all this, a lot of people have started logging in for the webinars during these times when generally people used to go around for moving around. Tomorrow, the webinar would be on section 319 CRPC, power of court to summon the accused. That would be by Mr. S.R. Somashekhara, a former district judge, Bangalore, Karnataka. So do join us. He had shared one of the sessions on last Sunday, and that has been well received not only on the Facebook, on the platform, as well as on the YouTube. Do stay connected with us tomorrow at 5 p.m. And on behalf of Beyond Law CLC, the participants who are watching us live on the YouTube as well as on the Facebook, along with those who have been connected on this platform, I thank both Mr. Sandeep and Mr. Yogesh for having given us an insights to this. And I can also say that, in fact, it is an eye-opener, not only for me, but for all the participants. Everyone stay safe, stay blessed,